Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something absolutely fascinating, how an artificial intelligence, systematically and completely neutrally, deconstructs a highly charged, multi-layered legal manifesto. We're talking about a really unique intersection here, raw human emotion colliding with complex legal theory, all analyzed by the cold, objective power of a large language model. So what actually happens when you feed a passionate plea for justice into a machine designed purely for logic? Well, let's find out.
The source material we're looking at is intense. It's a prison manuscript written by Dr. Chen Jingyuan, titled The Prison Self-Defense and Blood Accusation Letter. The text itself is a sweeping, deeply personal document alleging severe, systemic corruption deep within the Kunming judicial system. Now, as human readers, we naturally react to the sheer emotion in a text like this. You can't help it. But what we're doing today is exploring how an entirely emotionless AI stress tests these explosive claims, breaking them down into manageable, evaluable data points.
So how exactly does an AI analyze a prison accusation? To evaluate these politically sensitive allegations objectively, the AI has to establish a really rigorous analytical framework. It basically acts as a digital scale. It deliberately separates the raw, passionate emotion of the prisoner's narrative from the strict, unyielding logic of statutory law. This is absolutely crucial because it prevents the analysis from just getting bogged down in rhetoric. The AI's very first step is drawing a hard, clear boundary between factual allegations, which is simply what Dr. Chen says occurred, and legal characterization, meaning even if these specific acts happened exactly as described, do they actually constitute a recognized crime under the law? This distinction is literally the bedrock of all legal analysis.
Next, the AI applies its first major set of filters: criminal and procedural law.
Before we can even look at grander themes of justice, the AI starts right at ground level with the exact charge used by the state to imprison the author. The baseline crime here is known as picking quarrels and provoking trouble. The AI objectively defines this charge based on statutory law, and it notes that for this charge to actually stick, especially in a digital or speech context, three very strict elements have to be met all at the same time. First, there must be fabricated false information. Second, the accused must have a knowing and intentional state of mind to spread it. And third, it has to result in measurable, serious public disorder.
So the real test is how the AI maps the prisoner's text against those three legal requirements. Applying this filter, the AI concludes that, based strictly on the provided documents, there is simply no hard evidence for filling those requirements. The text involves sharing academic and emotional views, which the AI notes cannot be objectively verified as false information. There's no direct proof of malicious intent, and absolutely no data showing actual social chaos. Because of this, the AI determines the core criminal charge fundamentally lacks structural support. Shifting gears over to procedural law, the AI extracts a list of severe alleged procedural violations directly from the manuscript. We're talking about claims of arrests being made before evidence was even gathered, totally missing warrants, secret trials, and even the extortion of confessions through torture. Now, the AI maintains a strict neutral caveat here. It doesn't confirm these events actually happened, but it impartially concludes that if these allegations are true, they aren't just minor technicalities. They constitute massive procedural failures and potentially cross the line into distinct crimes committed by the authorities themselves, like illegal detention. Moving beyond the criminal code, the AI steps back to examine constitutional and human rights. This is where the analysis really elevates from a procedural audit to a fundamental questioning of state power. The AI points out a core legal philosophy here. It states that if criminal tools are being used to punish the online sharing of academic or emotional content, especially when no actual social harm has occurred, it completely violates the constitutional boundary of public power. It notes that actions like these breach constitutional protections of free speech, human dignity, and personal freedom. Ultimately, using criminal law to regulate thought is a massive overreach. For the officials involved, the AI adds a highly unique fourth filter: party discipline and ethics. Because this case unfolds within the Chinese legal system, the AI observes a dual-track reality. Officials aren't just bound by standard legal statutes, they also operate within strict internal political rules. The AI notes that if the judicial officers abuse their power exactly as alleged, like forging evidence or holding secret trials, they didn't just violate state criminal law. They simultaneously breached the fundamental obligations outlined in the Chinese Communist Party constitution. In this system, judicial ethics and political discipline are totally intertwined.
And that brings us to what I think is the most brilliant part of the analysis, the legal mirror test.
Okay, here's where it gets absolutely fascinating. The AI strips away all the anger in the manuscript to reveal a highly sophisticated counterargument. It's this clever mirror test, and let's just walk through it step by step. Step 1. The prosecution standard states that creating false information that causes public chaos is a crime, right? Step 2. The author mirrors this exact standard back onto the judicial officers themselves. Step 3. The logic goes that if these officers forge evidence and issue false verdicts, well, they're the ones actively spreading false information. And finally, step 4. This specific abuse of power destroys judicial credibility, which is what causes true social chaos. It's an incredible piece of logic, using the state's own legal definitions against it.
Finally, we bring all of these objective evaluations together under psychology, law, and resilience. Compiling everything into one comprehensive matrix, we can finally see the full scope of the AI's deconstruction. The AI has systematically evaluated the facts, the criminal code, the Constitution, party discipline, and the underlying philosophical logic. Across every single dimension, entity, procedural, constitutional, and party law, the AI concludes that, again, if these allegations are proven true, this is not just an isolated mistake. We're looking at a systemic and structural breakdown of justice across the board.
Which leaves us with this incredible final thought derived directly from the source's psychological perspective. The text reminds us that the law is only as strong as the human resilience defending it. It suggests that personality isn't just an inner trait, it's a profound source of moral responsibility. So, we have to ask ourselves, does true justice rely solely on the cold, objective legal codes we've analyzed today, or does it ultimately depend on the moral courage of the individuals actually fighting for it? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us for this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.